So everybody gave me a hard time about my bolt, and they were actually right. I didn't even think about it. When I tightened that down, it clamped that together and prevented that from sliding. So I did a little easy fix. I backed it off a couple turns, and I put another nut on it to lock it on there. So now it's just as free as it's ever been. I greased it up a little bit. So that's an easy fix. That's still somewhat tight. It ain't perfectly tight, but I found another nut and put that on there, and that locked it in place. So that should be good to go. The $200 finish mower, I can't complain too much about it, so it's worked great. So that's done. Like I say, I had about 30 people tell me about that, and I don't know, it never even dawned on me yesterday about that pinching it tight, but it did, and it wasn't going to move. So I loosened it up a little bit and put another nut on it, and hopefully I'll find out when I mow the grass. It should work fine and dandy, I think. So everybody likes to see me working on my old junk, so I figured I'll do another video. I got time for a little update, a little maintenance video here on the backhoe. It was getting kind of where it was hard to start, so actually I didn't even dawn on me to change the air filter, but it was pretty well stopped up. See, the only flaw about this machine is the muffler is like 4 inches away from the air intake, and that seal's about gone. So you know, this thing chugs a bunch of black smoke, so I'm sure it sucks about half of it directly back into the intake. So needless to say, I didn't think about it, I haven't been in that much dust. That damn soot about caked that air filter slam full, so that was choking it down from starting. And plus it's been about 1.5 years since I've changed the fuel filters on this thing. So I'm going to give them a quick change here. You got your fuel water separator there, your fuel filter. Got my new ones right here. There's actually 3, and down here this one's a pain in the ass because you get soaked in fuel. There's an inline fuel filter right there, and at some point in time somebody has ripped this line off, and there was supposed to be a valve on here that you can cut off so that the fuel won't dump on you. So now there's not one, and I don't know how much fuel's in here. So last time I did it, it was slam full, so it had a lot of pressure. And it gives you a good little fuel bath. So I find 2 vice grips, put a rag around it, and crimp the fuel line, kind of pinch it, so that the fuel won't dump out here on me. I'm still gonna get dirty on that one, so I'll see if I can figure out something a little better on that. But that's that. I'm gonna take these off. I know that water separator hadn't been drained in a while, so I'm sure it's packed slam full. Not packed, but clogged up with water, rust, no telling what else. See how bad that was. No, it really wasn't too bad. Take the fuel filter off now. See how bad it is. Wasn't too bad either. Alright, well I got those off. Never forget, safety first, put the little brace down so that the loader arms don't fall down on you. And cut your head off. Don't forget to replace these O-rings. I've already pulled them off. Both of them there. Why ain't that focusing there? Too good. Anyways, sometimes you'll forget about them. They're kind of hidden on there. So I'm ready to fill these up, and I always fill them up with fuel. And then it's got a little primer right here. You can prime up. See the fuel coming out, and get it primed back up. Everybody's gonna laugh at my fuel can here. Sometimes all you need is 5 gallons. It's the easiest way to get it. Spill half this. Alright, well that's nice and lubed up now. Always like to snug it up just a little bit. That's where these things get tighter. So you don't have to get them too terribly tight. About a half a turn is a plenty. I probably actually, well that one was full. I'll leave this one a little bit loose and pump it up and get all the air out of the system before I try to start it. Now what I do is get this little primer right here. Kind of hard to get to, but you'll see it start to pump the air out. Once the fuel starts running out and running down the filter like it is now, it's good, and you can tighten it on up. Couldn't get that one too tight behind. Whoop. That's pretty tight. Alright, well let's start this thing up and see what happens. I got to do the bottom one as well, but I'm going to at least start it up before I do that one. Rev it up a little bit in case it's got any air in it. I'm actually going to let the bucket down and jack this thing up off the ground some, put some blocks under the wheels, get this thing a little higher up off the ground, so I got a little bit more room to work. I'm trying to take that filter off. Time for the fun filter. I don't know why it's got a little inline fuel filter down here, but it's a pain in the ass. And I know I'm going to get ridiculed over this, but I don't give a damn because it works. Like I said, there's no valve to shut the fuel off, and I couldn't find any vice grips. So next best thing is a rag and a C-clamp, and it seems to work pretty good. So now all that's left to do is undo these two hose clamps and pull that off. Put the new one on. They got a little arrow for the fuel. It goes that way. Arrow goes that way. Alright, let's see if it'll start up now. I don't think it lost too terribly much fuel.